Now, you've approached Shelburne Council, and this is all about your daughter Natasha, who was killed in a tragic accident during Shelburne's Fiddle Fest last year. Tell me a little bit about why you decided to approach council and what you were asking for.
Well, originally we had been called in to discuss doing something in the park several months ago, and at that time they suggested that they were going to rebuild the pavilion in the park with some government funding that was being provided, and that they were going to do something to honor Natasha inside the pavilion and put her name on the outside of the pavilion and name it Natasha Paterson Pavilion. At that meeting, I asked why or if there was a reason that the park was named Highland Park. And if there was, I obviously didn't want to interfere with any past reason for that park being named Highland Park. But if there was no reason, I requested that they also name the park in Natasha's honor.
And
sorry, go ahead.
No, continue.
So some months went by, and I hadn't got a response from council, so I sent an email and was told that if I wanted to address the renaming of the park, that I had to attend a council meeting and make a presentation. So that is what happened on, I believe it was Monday evening. I went in and did a presentation asking them if they could at the same time rename the park in Natasha's honor.
And what was the response from council?
The concern was with respect to a previous family that had requested something similar, and they did not want to obviously offend another family that had a similar loss by renaming the park after Natasha. And as parents that have lost a child, the last thing we wanted to do was upset another family also. So we asked if there was a way that both families could be accommodated.
So both names perhaps put in the park in some way.
Yes, and I think the proposal was for the ball diamond to be renamed after, I believe her name was Lisa McKechnie, because she was an avid or a big player in baseball. And if I'm not mistaken, there's actually tournaments every year in her honor.
Okay, and you were concerned, because of this request coming in years ago to council, and now yours. You were concerned about how the other family would react. What can you tell me about what you thought about that, and maybe what their reaction was?
I mean, any parent that has lost a child will understand that your loss is no different than anybody else's. So, the last thing I wanted was for them to be caught off guard and be upset by our proposal. The only difference in the loss would be the circumstances. So, I mean, any loss of a child is just that. It's a loss of a child, and it's your worst nightmare.
Right. So I guess council is going through a process now to figure out how they can honor both losses. So have they said to you a timeline, or what's happening now?
I believe the date was put May 15th, that they would have to have the motion put together and presented to council. I don't know if that's the date that they would actually vote on whether or not they were going to approve or disapprove of the proposal. I understand from speaking with Mr. Mills yesterday that it may involve being put in the paper and having public opinion on it as well.
So go to public consultation.
Right.
Okay. And this might be a hard question for you to answer, Duncan, but if they were to rename the pavilion in Natasha's honor, what would that mean to you and your wife?
I don't think you can put into words what it would mean to us. I mean, she was our whole world. And to have her live on right now the town sees that incident as something so negative and tragic. And I think it might be not only healing for us, but healing for the town as well. You know, I started a little online petition, and some of the comments that people have made, it's just overwhelming. One lady who was actually a mother of one of Natasha's friends put that the park, the wind whispers her name. I mean, stuff like that. It's overwhelming.
I know people in the horse community were very affected by Natasha's death. Is there any other thoughts that you've had other than this pavilion of ways of remembering Natasha?
Well, we had a trust account set up for Natasha when this happened, and people were very generous in donating. And at the time, we were still in shock. Our original intention was to send underprivileged kids to a horse camp. My only concern with that is who decides which kid. You know, I don't want to be responsible for telling 6 or 8 kids that they can't go and one kid can. So there has to be some way that it's set up and it's done properly. We've already bought a bench. We have a condo in Florida, and Natasha loved the beach. We used to go to the beach every day. We bought a bench, and we had it put on the beach with a plaque with her name and her favorite quote. It hasn't been delivered yet. We're going to get a picture of it when it's delivered, and hopefully the local paper will put it in the newspaper so people can see that we've actually started to do something with those funds. But I mean, if it's not doing something with an underprivileged kid, if it's a statue or something, I'd like to do something where we help others and it involves Natasha's name. I know her school in Orangeville is doing a bench outside of the library, and they're doing an award each year. The fair has already done an award in Natasha's name because she was a big participant in the fair every year. She always used to win for the most points. The library is also doing or allowing us to put a wood carving in there that a local artist is doing. And then the artist has suggested that instead of paying him, that we do a donation to a charity in Natasha's name. I've also approached Primrose School to see if we could do something there. I haven't heard back from them. I should actually give them another call and find out why I haven't had a response. But I'm looking at options. It's just you're so numb from the initial impact of what happened. It's difficult to keep your mind concentrated on certain things. Yeah, I said something at Natasha's eulogy. My wife and I were just overwhelmed by the love and support from everybody. People we never even met. It just means a lot to us both. Like I said, Shelburne is a wonderful place to live because the support from people has just been amazing. Like people we didn't even know bringing food to the house, people we didn't even know coming to her service. It was just, there was probably close to 350 people at her service, and many of those people I had never met. So I just want to, we've already put a thank you in the paper. I just want to say thank you to everybody that came and everybody that's shown their support.